Let's talk about plotting some graphs. We want to plot three types of graphs in this lesson. The first type of graph is going to be lines. The second type of graph is going to be parabolas. The third type of graph is going to be circles. And in future we're going to cover radicals and hyperbola and all that stuff. So let's talk about lines first. If we have a line, the format that we're going to talk about is y equals mx plus b. So this is our line. We have different ways we can plot this on a Cartesian coordinate system. So the first way that I like to do when we're teaching this is if we have, let's say we have the graph y equals 3x plus 1. If we have the graph y equals 3x plus 1, if we don't even know anything about it, we can just say the table of values, x and y. So if you're on a test and you don't understand it, you can just plug this in. Put in any arbitrary values for x, so -1, 0, and -2, let's say. Those are our values we're going to plot. Then let's plot it in for y. So we plug in 1, we get y equals 3 times 1, which is 3. So 3 times 1 plus 1, which equals 4. If we plug in 2, we get 3 times 2 plus 1, which equals 7. If we plug in -1, we get 3 times -1 plus 1 equals 3 times -1 is -3 plus 1 is -2. Plug in 0, we get 3 times 0 plus 1, which is equal to just 1. Plug in -2, we get 3 times -2 plus 1, which is going to be equal to -5. Now, we can plot these on our graph. So, we have x is 1, y is 4. We have x is 2, y is 7, so way up here. X is -1, y is -2. X is 0, y is 1. And x is -2, y is -5, somewhere about here. So you can see right now that this is going to plot to a line down like this. That's the first way you can grab it. The next is, if you know y equals mx plus b, all you need to do is know that this is the slope, which is equal to the change in y over the change in x, which is equal to the rise over just the run. So if the slope is 3, 3 is actually 3 over 1. So that means we have 3 rise over 1 run. Let's plot that over here. So we know the slope has to be 3 rise, 1 run. But where do we start it? If we start it here, it's going to be a different graph than we started here. We need to find a point. So let's plug in 0. If we plug in 0 for x, then we know at the 0 point, we're going to have 1. So that's the point we found before. So that point we know is on the graph. 0, 1. Because we plugged in 0 for x, we found out what y was. It was also on our table of values. So now we can do our rise over run. So it's going to rise 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and run 1 point. If it's risen 3, it's now at 4 height. If it's run 1, it's now at 1. So 1, 4 is our next point. We can go back the other way. If we were at the point before, it would have to rise 3 and run 1. So let's go backwards. If it goes backwards 1 and then falls 3, 1, 2, 3, we have this new point here, which is going to be equal to -1, -2, like that. And we can draw lines. So that's how you plot lines in a basic way. If it's not in y equals mx plus b format, you can just make it that way. And yeah, that's plotting lines.